Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Pod Z CCG. This is Brandon.
This is Brad.
Today we have Majin Molder talk for you. We're going to speak about Set 3 a little bit. We have a tournament report to go over. We have Elm Street as well. And our Panini card of the week, Orange Electricity. So look forward to that. Also remember to give Kame House podcast on SoundCloud to listen. They have a Facebook page. I believe it's called California Kame House. They post some really cool stuff, tournaments on there, some cards. So check them out. They're the only other DBZ podcast to get Pod Z CCG stamp of approval, and I think that means a little something.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook to win some cool Set 3 foils and promos. I think what we're going to do is give out an isolation promo, since we have a few of those. So we'll look into seeing what we have in stock, and we'll put a picture up soon. So everyone who likes us so far, you already have an entry. If you share us, you get another entry. So make sure to do that. We have a YouTube channel, which some matches get posted on, like Brad will play with the kids from Kame Bros. So those are always fun to watch. Let's go ahead and get started with our listener emails.
Alright. First email comes from jokejoke82@yahoo.com. Hey guys, missed you last week, but the videos you have been posting are awesome. I hope to see more of them in the future, especially the ones of your matches. I have a question for Brad. It sounded like you were always playing Blue Ginyu. I have run blue for the longest time as well. What made you change your decks? Just curious. Well, I still do have my Blue Ginyu built. When I think blue, I think control, damage prevention, and stasis. Set 2 blue cards seem to have only wanted to help Frieza out, and kinda sucked. Set 3 did get more control with the blue observation drill and whatnot, but there's so much ally and stasis hate out there right now, it's not even funny. Mill decks almost always beat my Blue Ginyu deck because it was more defensive than offensive. I would always draw a handful of blocks against mill decks. When I saw all the insane combos that you could pull off with red, I knew I had to try it. I'll go into more of the combos with my tournament report, so keep listening for that.
Our next email comes from SS Drake the Singer. You think it's Drake the Singer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gotta be
That's
Drake.
Cool. He should give us a shout out in one of his music videos.
He likes Sprite and Pod Z CCG.
He should put a tattoo on one of his booty holes in the music video of Pod Z CCG. I think that'd be pretty tight.
That'd be so tight.
So SS Drake the Singer writes, love the show. Just wondering if you plan on having Majin Molder on to share some of his memories with you guys. It'd be interesting to see what he comes up with. We've actually thought about that when we were talking about guests to bring onto the show.
Yeah.
But he's not really into DBZ anymore. I've sent him some things over Facebook, like, hey, Dragon Ball's back out. I was really excited, but he never responded to them. So we rarely, if ever, talk, and if it is, it's something like liking one of each other's pictures on Facebook. So I don't see him being on in the near future, but never say never. So let's move on to our Dragon Ball Z question of the week. With the Set 3 release, what do you expect to see at regional tournaments?
Part 2 of the question is, what Set 3 card do you think will be underutilized at regional tournaments as well?
Well, I feel there's going to be a lot of rainbow decks in the first regionals. Rainbow meaning like
a variety.
Yeah, just a variety.
Because people won't really know what works yet, really.
Yeah, basically Oregon is going to be the regional that pretty much sets the beginning of the meta, and then Gen Con as well. Those will be, we've got the first regional in Oregon, and Gen Con is gonna play a big part. Just like how in the first 1K tournament in SoCal, just blasted the internet with Black Ginyu, and everyone just, not everyone, but most people just hopped on board with that.
On the bandwagon,
yeah.
The Black Ginyu bandwagon, the lower tiered Black Ginyu.
I'm expecting to see some Saiyan Vegeta, some Rainbow Turles, Blue and Black Frieza with the new level 2. There's just so many possibilities. I'm sure there will be a Namekian Piccolo, Black Krillin, and the safe decks that have been tried and true.
I think it's pretty sad how Frieza had to get a new level 2 for people to start playing him.
I played Frieza from the get-go.
I know you did, and he can be a good build. It's not Frieza's time yet.
Yeah.
It's just not his time.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be some Garlic Jr., black and red, maybe blue. Maybe a Garlic Jr. ball deck out there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could see that. I expect to see a ton of Turles' decks as well. Piccolo too. We might see a reduction in Krillin and Ginyu play, but we really can't say for sure until we get to Oregon. One thing you guys need to watch out for is Wheelo, though. If someone goes against a black Wheelo deck and they're not prepared for it, like you don't run Lookout Drill or Flip Toss, you're going to have a tough time to beat it. I played Jordan's Wheelo deck, and even with all my red attacks, he always gets real close to milling me out. Now that black got more blocks, black could be a true mill stasis deck with power up and blindings. It's crazy. The one thing that they're missing, like Namekian's missing, is crit effects. Allies could still overrun any black deck if you're not careful.
So don't go away, Pod Z CCG will be right back with some Elm Street. And we're back. The first Elm Street character, Bo Jackson. You remember Bo Jackson from childhood, right?
Yep.
The guy that bounced around to every sport. Bo knows baseball, Bo knows basketball, Bo knows football. Well, the Bo Jackson of CCG world goes something like this. Bo knows Yu-Gi-Oh! Bo knows Magic. Bo knows Pokemon. Bo knows Force of Will. Bo knows Puzzles and Dragons. Bo knows DBZ. Bo knows Warhammer. Bo knows L5R. Bo knows Warcraft. Bo knows UFS. This guy plays it all, but not all at once in traditional Bo Jackson format. He can only focus on 1, maybe 2 games at a time, and he'll buy just like a huge lot of, say, Yu-Gi-Oh!, play in a tournament or 2, then sell off all of his collection for much less than he paid for it to go pick up a lot of Magic and L5R cards. He'll go to a few play nights, found out that it's not really for him at the moment, and then jump right into Pokemon. Oh, a new game you say? Force of Will? It mixes the likes of Magic, Hearthstone, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Let me sell all these Pokemon cards for all 4 boxes of Force of Will from my local game store. He'll try to recruit monster bills from other card games too. Oh, you like Dracula? Well, check this out. You can play as Alucard and Dracula in Force of Will. Wait, what's this? My Little Pony has a card game? Color me Brony and put a rainbow over my forehead. When he finally comes around to a card game you play, he tries to incorporate strategies from other games that he plays. Oh, too bad there's not a trap card that gets rid of allies when they are played, like Maneater Bug from Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, you milled me for 50 life cards this turn? With your black Wheelo? Pokemon has this card called Trump Card, where you shuffle your discard pile into your life deck. That stops mill for sure.
What a loser.
Get out of here, Bo Jackson.
Go play Force of Will. My Elm Street character this week is going to be Tommy the Turtle. It's the guy who takes forever with his matches, intentionally. He beats his opponent by mentally exhausting them. Slow and steady wins the race, right? He has unlimited mental stamina. His matches always go to time. He has perfected the art of the long game. Most players who play card games are fast-paced players, rabbit players if you will. They know what cards their opponent will play and have a game plan of how the combat is going to go when they enter combat. But Tommy crushes these players. They are shaking with anticipation, wanting to play their next card. Tommy knows this. Tommy makes them commit play errors due to the mental agony of slow play. He takes so long on his action that these fast-minded rabbit players lose track of their strategy. With a handful of cards, Tommy knows what he's going to do. He's going to play Blue Terror. He sees the rabbit getting anxious. He still waits 2 minutes, which seems like a lifetime to the rabbit, to play Blue Terror. Once he does, the rabbit breaks, for he knows Tommy is going to look through his deck 5 times before choosing a card and place it in his hand. Blue Terror is played. The rabbit attempts to block, but Tommy says, "Hold on. Blue terror is a secondary effect. Don't block it yet. I have to pull my card from my life deck." This kills the rabbit. He is now sweating, on the verge of a mental breakdown. The only player not affected by Tommy's strategy is, of course, Monster Bill. For Monster Bill is immune to Tommy's trickery, because Monster Bill is Tommy the Turtle without the intelligence or wit.
So that's it for Elm Street. Don't go anywhere because we'll be back with Majin Molder. Okay, we're back with Majin Molder. So, let's make up for missing last week's episode by telling you what I think is the best Majin Molder story.
Is this where you get convicted?
We're getting ahead of ourselves. The title to this story is I Fought the Law and the Law Won.
Uh-oh.
It began as a normal day in summer. It was summertime, stupidly hot. Josh and I were hanging out. We grabbed a bite to eat at a local burger joint, and he didn't finish his meal like he never does. So he got it to go, and we were on our way to Abrams. Now, it was rush hour, and the street that we were on had heavy construction going on, and we were in Citrus Heights. Now, those of you who live in Sac know two things about Citrus Heights.
1,
It's teeming with syphilis.
2.
The cops there are assholes. They even have signs posted that say, "You are now entering Citrus Heights. Traffic laws are strictly enforced here." So when you hit this offshoot of Sacramento, you know to go 5 under the speed limit, avoid eye contact with any cop on a motorcycle, and use your blinker whenever you turn or change lanes. It's crazy there. So being stuck in traffic in Citrus Heights, with road construction going on, you wouldn't think it'd be a bright idea to say, you know, throw your unfinished hamburger out the window at a pedestrian on a bicycle, would you?
No.
No. I mean, in whose mind does this make perfect sense? Like, hey, look, we're stuck in traffic in a heavy police town on a road with construction going on. There's a guy on a bike. I think I'll throw the burger out the window and try to hit him. To Majin Molder, this made perfect sense. And that's exactly what happened. Josh threw his hamburger out the window and hit someone on a bicycle. Luckily, no cops were around, and I was just passing a green light that was turning red.
So did you see the hamburger hit him?
Yes.
Did the hamburger, like, explode everywhere on him?
Yeah, it did. It was pretty funny thinking about it. And it was one of those hamburgers that came in like a sourdough roll.
Oh.
So it was the hard bread. Like a hoagie roll. So with the light turning red, I had a little bit of time on my side, and I made a quick right down a side street and tried to get off the path. This dude was going to catch up to me in my car if we stayed on the road. However, the side street just did like a loop around the exit about 500 feet onto the same street. It was like this. We turned right, the street took us and curved us back around onto the same street. It was like that one episode of The Simpsons. Remember when Homer jumped out of the car for some reason, maybe to destroy it or something, and the hill circled him right back into the car? It was like that.
Yeah, when Mo wanted Homer to steal and destroy his car for the insurance money, Mo needed it so he could spend it on Renee, I think her name was, his new girlfriend, who was voiced by Helen Hunt. He ran out of money to take her on dates, so he thought it was the only way she would go out with him was spend more money on her. So he wanted Homer to destroy the car, and he was supposed to park it on the train tracks and let it get destroyed that way. But he took it to the drive-ins to watch Hail to the Chimp instead and missed the train.
And that's what you get for not hailing to the chimp.
Yep.
At the end of the loop street I was on, I turned right to get back onto the busy street. I looked in my mirror and did not see the guy on the bicycle, so I was a little relieved. We started moving a little bit quicker, and guess who appears up ahead? The bicyclist. Josh throws open my glove box and fishes out a Domino's sweet icing. Remember those? They came with the Cinesticks, and Josh loved them. He fiended for them. So every now and then I'd grab a couple sweet icing containers after I got off work and throw them in the glove box because I know he liked to snack on them. So sweet icing in hand, he launched it at the bicyclist, but this time a motorcycle cop saw and pulled us over. The cop gets us out of the car and throws us in handcuffs. He says something like, "You're going down."
Oh, man.
He sounded quite piggish, too. He looked like Porkins from Star Wars. Like, dead on like Porkins. Look him up, guys. Look up Porkins on Google Images, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I have broad shoulders, and these cuffs were digging into my skin, like, for real. Only Citrus Heights. They act like we've just detonated 4,000 tons of C4. Assholes, I swear. Anyway, the cop took our stories down, and the bicyclist. I advised that I had no control over Josh, and that he acted out on his own accord, which he did advise the cop as well. After about 30 minutes of sitting on the hot concrete, they uncuffed us and gave me a slip to appear in court.
You know what you should have did when you were sitting in handcuffs is try to run away. Like they do on cops.
One, I'm not a minority. And two, I'm smart.
I just could picture that, you in handcuffs running away. That'd be hilarious. Maybe we could recreate it with that scene and put it on our YouTube.
Maybe. Not only did I get a slip to appear in court, Josh got one as well. My court date was like 30 days away. And don't you just hate that? Like having to go to court? Like, even just for minor stuff, like driving with expired tags or getting ticketed for having a broken muffler and going down the street and getting pulled over for a noise violation.
Noise violation.
Even right now, I get a little anxiety just thinking about it. And thank the Lord that I have not had to go through that process in like 8 years.
I hate that.
Anyway, the court date comes and I get called to the judge. He lists off my offense, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. He asks, "How do you plead?" And I say, "Guilty." And he was like, "Really? You don't want to talk to a public defender? This is like your first offense." And I just wanted to get out of there. I said, "No, I don't. I was driving and he did what he did under my supervision." Dude, I should have talked to a public defender. The judge sighs and brings the gavel down. 30 days in jail or time can be served doing work project. And you also have to pay $2,000 in restitution.
Man.
I was shocked. I had no idea how I was going to do this. I talked to Josh later that day and he said, "Man, that sucks. I have my court day in a few days." No offer to help the restitution or anything, whatever. But I knew he was getting the gavel slammed down on him, and he had a bigger list of charges than I. Assault.
Assault with the intent to feed.
Yeah. So I go downstairs from the courtroom, and I have to advise that if I want to do work project or go into county. Of course I chose to do work project.
You can't play Dragon Ball in jail.
That's exactly why I chose it too. I was like, I can't go to Abrams anymore. I'll do work project. The lady asked me when I wanted to start and which days I wanted to do, because I could have done Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. And this is when I was still working at Domino's, so I had to get my affairs in order. I asked for a month extension.
Your affairs?
Yeah, I had to let Walt know that I would need to work nights on Tuesdays, Thursdays instead of the morning shift.
And that took a month to work out?
5 seconds. I just wanted to not do it. So a few days go by and Josh gives me a call to advise that he had his court date. He said, "I got raped by the system."
Oh, man.
I said, "Yeah?" He said, "Yep. I have to pay $200 in restitution and do 2 peer court sessions. I have to be on a jury for juveniles for 2 whole days."
So is he convicting other juveniles, or is it like a mock trial?
Like a mock thing. Like a mock court.
Oh, man.
He was still 17 and got a slap on the wrist. I could have punched him in the face. I said, "Yeah, remember, I have to pay $2,000 in restitution and do work project for 30 days. He went silent, and then I just hung up. I was done. I didn't have time to really hang out with him anymore anyways. He would call, and I would not answer, or just be really short with him. Like if he called from a block number or something and he caught me.
So what, you started work project after a month?
No, I got 2 extensions. You either had to report to work project, or you could go downtown on Richards Boulevard and get an extension. another 30 days added on. I did this twice, and after every time, it felt so nice to not have to do it for another 30 days, and I had more freedom.
Dude, it was just 2 days a week. You weren't going to jail.
It felt like it. And after each time I get my extension, I'd go to Del Taco, a few exits off the freeway, and buy like $12 worth of food. I'd get like 2 big fat crispy chicken taco meal. And you know, if you got the large meal,
The macho size?
yeah, the macho size, they'd give you your fries in their macho size cup instead of a dinky container like they do now.
Oh man, those macho fries were amazing.
Yeah, I'd get a freaking double Del burger too, and I'd gorge. It felt so good because gluten's a hell of a drug. And that's when Passam and I formed a tighter bond.
Sam, the guy we mentioned on the show before, right?
Yeah,
The guy who played Dragon Ball with us?
yeah. It was like, I was over there every night from 8 p.m. through 4 a.m. We'd play DBZ, video games, board games, sit on his futon and watch music videos. I think the most nostalgic music video being Rooney with their song Blue Side. That was the first time we saw the video together, and we loved it. We'd order Pizza Hut, Round Table, just every night. It was the best.
And John would come over too, right?
Yeah, John would be over there too.
John and Sam were like tied to the hip like you and Josh were.
Yeah.
But they weren't crime buddies like you and Josh were.
No. And you would come over sometimes too.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And since I had the keys to Domino's, we'd go there at like 2 in the morning, fire up the oven and make pizza, chicken kickers, wings, cheesy bread, and take it back to Sam's house. And during this time, Josh would still call, here and there. And I'd kind of start making plans with them to hang out, and then would just cancel last minute because I was having so much fun with Sam and John. So flash forward a few weeks, you, me, and John over at Sam's house at nighttime. I was dead tired, so I fell asleep on the futon. Now, you could take over here.
Well, John, Sam, and I were playing NES games on Sam's modded Dreamcast console. Your phone rang like 30 times. I couldn't believe it, and we kept seeing that it was Josh calling over and over again. I finally turned your phone to vibrate because it was annoying me. This made John and Sam laugh hysterically. After a few more calls, he finally left a voicemail and stopped calling. We tried to wake you up to check it. I was able to figure out how to check your voicemail. What came next was amazing. I can't remember exactly how the message went, but it went something like this. I put your phone on speaker and played the message. Brandon, it's Josh. You know what? We used to be great friends. We used to hang out all the time. I mean, I used to mean something to you. I make plans for us all the time, but you cancel on the last minute.
How gay does this sound?
I'm so tired of you not giving me any attention anymore. I'm tired of being the glue that holds us together. That's all we had to hear. Me, Sam, and John just started laughing our asses off at that point. I mean, I'm tired of being the glue that holds us together. We replayed the message over and over and over again. If we had YouTube back there, I'm sure we would have made like a remix out of that message. It would have been so funny.
Yeah, and I just remember waking up with you guys laughing hysterically, and I just couldn't stay awake. I wanted to, but I was just so tired.
Yeah, Josh made our night without even knowing it.
So the time came for me to actually start work project. I get there, and we all had to meet under the underpass of a freeway in a dirt lot. It was nuts. You basically had to jump on a huge white sheriff work project bus and get your name checked off. The first bus I went to took us to 6 different light rail stations throughout the day.
What hours did you work?
From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Really? So
Yeah.
what happens if you had a full-time job? Do you have to do it on the weekends?
Or go to jail. They didn't have weekends.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would have probably had to go to jail.
Seriously. So, we usually got back to the dirt lot around 3:30 or 4 though. But dude, this was manual labor. We had to weed the light rail stations, clean garbage cans, man work.
Ooh.
I thought, you know what? Let me look on the bright side. I'll get some exercise out of this. I'll get healthy. I'll lose some of this domino weight I put on by eating Domino's all day. But by the end of the day, I was exhausted. My hands were cut up because we had to clean the actual bus at the end of the day, and I used the power washer to wash my hands. I still have scars from it. It just ripped my skin clean off. The second day, we went to different police storage warehouses. We had to basically move stuff out of these huge storage warehouses and fit them into tiny storage units. Just busy work for like 10 hours.
Did you ever find any Black Widows in there?
Dude, there was hundreds. We even saw a freaking snake.
Oh, that sucks.
So, after that, the following week, my third day, that second Tuesday, I was a little late, and my bus had already left. So, bus 2 was still there, and if you were late, you went to jail. So I snuck onto bus 2 and put my head down to make sure, like, no one saw me. And if anyone found out, I would just claim I got on the wrong bus without knowing. And I just prayed that no one caught me. After a few seconds of me sitting down, right in the front of the bus, because that was the only seat left, a police officer jumped on the bus and pointed at me and said, "Come with me."
Was it like, come with me if you want to live?
No, it wasn't. It was like, "Come with me."
Your ass is grass.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I was like, "That's it. I'm going to jail. No more DBZ." First thought, no more DBZ. He took me off the bus and brought me to this small white van.
The jail van.
Yep, that's what I thought. The door was one of those sliding doors that the vans usually had, and I saw 3 other criminals. A big black dude, whose name I would know as Mario, a skeevy Russian kid named Yuri, and this older white dude who looked like he would be on the top spot of wantedpedophiles.com. Mario looked at me as I got in the van and said,
"Take off your pants and give them to me, fool."
"Nah," he didn't say that. He said, "You just won the lottery." I was a little confused. He said, "We're the car wash crew. So get this. First, we went to a donut shop. Winchell's Donuts.
Oh,
In
Winchell's.
South Sac.
Oh, hecka-tight.
And got donuts. Then down the street from there was a police station. And all we did all day was the guy in charge would run the police cars through a car wash. And we just scrub it and dry it and do the windows.
Serious? So you didn't even have to wash the van?
No.
Wash the car. You just had to dry it and scrub it?
Yep.
Wow.
No, we cleaned about 5 cars, and then we went to lunch. Whatever fast food place was around there, like Burger King or something, and then we'd go to a shaded park, sit in the van until 2:30, and then make our way back to the dirt lot, and they let us leave.
That's hecka-tight.
I did hit the jackpot. It's like they knew I wasn't supposed to be there. One time we had to clean out the back of this paddy wagon, though. It smelled so bad, like puke and piss and blood. And there's a huge chunk of bone in there. It looked like a vertebrae. Oh, and remember that other guy, the pervert-looking man?
Yeah.
He said that he actually worked at a car washing place in real life, but got fired from there.
How do you get fired from washing cars?
Well, I guess this was like an outside-only job. Like they were only allowed to wash the outside of the cars. He said that every time a female would drop off her car, he would wait until no one was looking, open the driver's side door, he'd bend down and sniff the seat. Not like, but like,
Oh, man.
he said that he especially loved it when Aunt Flovit was visiting. He didn't get fired for the sniffing, though. He got fired for opening the door.
And this is where you got the police interceptor stickers, right?
Yes! So, when washing the cars, I would like to do the back, because some cop cars had the police interceptor sticker on the back bumper.
What is a police interceptor, do you know?
No idea. I first noticed these one day when I was washing them and one peeled halfway off. I made sure no one was looking, and I ripped it off and pocketed it. I would later super glue that one onto my Ultra Pro deck bag that I use to this day for my decks.
Such a rebel.
You know it. So if any of you out there see a police interceptor sticker on a deck bag, You know who it belongs to. So after 24 days of work project, about, 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
3 months, 2 days a week, I got good behavior and they let me go.
Tight.
Yep. So don't go away. Podzy CCG will be right back with our tournament report. And we're back. Adventures in Comics and Games, Tournament Report. 7/13/2015, 11 players. The decks were me with my red garlic, my newly red garlic, Brad with his red Ginyu, Scott playing blue Piccolo, Tyler playing Namekian Slug, Dylan with black Turles, Nick playing black Ginyu, Jordan playing black Willow, Logan playing Saiyan Turles, JJ also playing red garlic, Sam playing blue Piccolo, and Chris playing black Turles.
So I'm going to go first. Round 1 was my red Ginyu against Sam's blue Piccolo. Red shoulder grab was the MVP of this game. I got lucky and Sam didn't draw any blue betrayals early on, or blue barriers. Mid-game, I was at Ginyu level 1 with all my allies out. I entered combat with shoulder grab, heel kick, left bolt, and red double strike.
Oh, that's a nice hand.
Yeah. Sam still had 3/4 of his life deck left, of course, because he's blue stasis. I opened with shoulder grab, he lets it hit. He betrayals Jace. I left bolt and end up grabbing another heel kick. Then he betrays Nappa, so I have Jace and Nappa gone. 2 betrayals in 1 combat, I couldn't believe it. I then try to fish out his blocks. I heel kick for static shock. It hits him. I'm at 1 anger. He passes. I Ginyu, it hits, so now I'm at 2 anger. He passes. I then use red static shot. It hits. I crit ball 5, and it lets me advance a level. 3 from static shot and 1 from Dragon Ball 5. I draw another left bolt from Dragon Ball 5, and then I forgot to mastery. I forgot to draw a card and discard a card. I then Ginyu level 2, and it hits, so I gain 4 anger, 3 from my allies, and 1 for crit from shoulder grab. I then double strike to level since it hits. I don't forget to mastery this time. I draw red restriction and discard it. I then double strike again for 2 anger. He doesn't have any blocks left. I left bolt to grab another heel kick. I heel kick to get double strike again, and I get to level 4 and eventually kill him. It was so brutal. Round 2 was red Ginyu against Brandon's red garlic. This match was so one-sided. He wins a roll-off. He drops 2 red blazes and visiting the past. I go and enter with Ginyu to get Nappa before he can use those setups. But he kills Nappa with red energy blast and it goes downhill from there. There's no stopping the combos he gets. He wins with MPPV. Round 3 was red Ginyu against Nick's black Ginyu. This match was definitely in my favor. Black Ginyu being such a low tier deck. But I helped Nick out when I could. I gave him advice on what to use and when to use it. And I taught him about the new timing of Goldo. I won, and I gave him deck advice on how to build a blue Turles deck. He was adamant about keeping all the Dragon Balls in there in his deck, though.
Has he ever won by Dragon Ball Victory?
No.
Okay.
He said he would play it next week, so we'll see how it does. Round 4 was red Ginyu against Jordan's black Willow. I was able to pull off another red combo with the help of red restriction and shoulder grab. Red restriction is also a great card to shut off mill. I still had a hard time with this deck until I was able to combo my cards. After this match, I decided I would put in flip toss.
So round 1, red garlic versus Jordan black Willow. As Jordan and I sit down, he says, "Do you run Dead Zone?" I say no. He said, "What? Why not?" This is a deck that made me add red restriction after the tournament. Jordan then goes on to say, "If you lose to my deck, it's your fault, and I'll tell you why after the match." After a few turns of passing, he asks, "Can I get a life deck count?" And I actually roll my eyes, like I never do that. But to ask for a life deck count after a few turns, I said it'd be easier to count the cards that I have in play and in my discard and remove from game pile.
You know why he does that? Because on top tier, you could just look at someone's life deck count. Or not top tier.
On
Octagon, you could look at someone's life deck count.
So my life deck was sitting at 48. He likes to keep track of who's winning with his mill deck, what he considers winning by, I guess, who has the most life cards. He runs little to no attacks, but I can't justify running flip toss in this deck. My deck is Anger Dragon Ball and can adapt to whatever situation is presented. I get the early jump and get a few balls out. He corruptioned me once, I believe, and didn't hit any balls. The end game came at the last combat. I was sitting at about 10 life cards. He was at level 2, and in combat I used an attack. He stops it. He used Searching Technique, I believe. I used something to raise my anger. He then uses Black Foreshadowing. I say, Lookout Drill. He says, I should have had you mill with my power when I stopped your attack. I said, oh yeah, you should have. Then I would have been forced to use Lookout Drill then. I ended up getting all the balls out and winning. Jordan then said, yeah, if you would have included Dead Zone, you could have shuffled all your balls back in, and then I would have not been able to mill out your deck. Round 2 was against Brad's Red Ginyu. He already talked about that. One thing that was funny though, after I won, JJ said he was also playing Red Ginyu and he had lost his first match, and he looked over and he saw there were still 32 minutes left on the clock. He said, "You're already done?" I said, "Yeah, I MPPV'd." He said, "Oh shit, I need to look at your build."
Yeah, it was crazy fast.
Round 3, Scott's Blue Piccolo. Now, you aren't supposed to win by MPPV against Blue, right?
Nope.
I couldn't believe he was running Blue Piccolo. It wasn't my ball version, but an Energy Beats version that fed off of Piccolo's level 2 power with Blue Dominance. Arguably the best level 2 in the game. He is still standing and sees me put down Red Garlic. He had just beat JJ's Red Garlic in the first round, and he said, "Oh, I've played you before." Talking to Garlic. "You're easy." One of my favorite things with this deck is making my opponent choose their crit effects wisely. Lower my anger or crit my balls. He got out Gohan ally early on with overpowering attack. Next combat though, I had a red energy blast to answer it, and I killed him. I had a choice between killing him or Oolong, and I chose Gohan. I really didn't care about my ball powers right now, so Gohan got obliterated. I was leveling pretty quickly. I kept ball 2 out of play by rejuvenating it just in case he had a left blast for his Oolong and was going to capture it. He would hit me here and there with energy attacks, chipping my life deck away, but I was on a steady pace to win by MPPV. I was at level 3 with 4 anger and enter combat. I play Garlic Jr. Counterblast and smugly level up to level 4 with 0 anger. He said, "Ha! You're gonna kill yourself with that card." And I probably had this stupid look on my face because I forgot that the +3 life was counted as a modifier, and Garlic Jr.'s Counterblast doubles modifiers. So now with each hit, I was going to get hit for 6 life, plus 6 life at least. I had enough anger to win, I just had to survive. He Piccolo level 2 to crit my anger, but it was just at 0 anyways. I used Red Destiny, get some protection, and gain 2 anger. He throws an energy at me for 12, and I take 10 life with no endurance. He crits my anger, and I drop to 1 anger. I Red Blaze to crit away Tien and get my anger to 3. He throws another attack at me for 13 life. I take 11 of it, and he crits my anger down to 2. I have another Garlic Jr. Counterblast in hand, but I'm not playing it yet. I throw a card that gets me 1 anger, and I'm back up to 3. If he had another energy attack, I was probably dead. He passes, and I throw down Garlic Jr. Counterblast for the win. Round 4, Black Turles Dylan. We were both 3-0, but he had a bye in his first round. But this match was scary. I knew I could stay in the game with my Blazing Auras and Destinies, so I had that in the back of my mind until Dylan entered second turn and says, Black Scout Maneuver, Red Blazing Aura. Luckily, I drew 1, so he only got rid of 2, but I eventually played that 1 so that all 3 of them were gone in that combat. So after that combat, we were both passing, getting our field set up. I eventually have a chance to jump 2.5 levels. I enter, visiting the past for Counterblast, and use it. I'm so confident right now. He says, okay, Black power up to end combat. I did not see that coming at all. I slouched. I was decompressed. The wind in my sails fell by the wayside. I guess this was another reason to include restriction. We keep passing while I slowly get my balls out. Near the end of the game, he throws down a black corruption. I banish 2 and did not hit a ball. Next turn, I draw into ball 3, and with ball 3, I grab my 2 last balls to win.
That's tight.
So I went undefeated, 4-0. There were a bunch of tiebreakers, but Brad ended up getting second. Third was Dylan, and fourth was Sam. Usually with the kids, I have them get store credit because we pay for their tournament entries. But since Brad and I got top spots and added like $50 of store credit to our account, I told Sam to get packs. Jordan has been praying the whole time for a villainous visage. Guess what Sam gets in his first of 3 packs? A frickin' villainous visage. It was hecka tight. Last week they needed a stare down, and out of the 1 pack they got from winning, they got a stare down. They're so lucky. So don't go away. We'll be right back with our electrifying orange electricity card of the week. And we're back. And unfortunately, we are out of time. So orange electricity. I'm sure you're a good card. It does something good. I know that.
Yeah.
I know it was ran in pre-release by a bunch of people, but I'm sure it does something amazing. Till next time, keep rocking the dragon.